You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Justified, Season 4, Episode 5, entitled Kin. I'm your host, John Comerford, and I'm joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hey, everybody.
Joe Braswell.
Hello, everyone.
Rounding out the panel is Steve Bottomley.
Hi, everybody out there.
And, of course, helming the booth force is Marissa Serafini. Marissa, please say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much. All right, lots of happening today. A lot of plot thickening. We saw the boys are back with Raylan and Boyd joining forces. We saw Wynn making a deal with Tonin. Wynn making a deal with Boyd, even though he has a deal with Johnny already. It's crazy out there. But the place I want to start off right now with Ellen May, because that's where we left off last week. Who the heck helped her out? We knew somebody did. We were postulating it was going to be Cassie. But in effect, it was because of Cassie, because Sheriff Shelby, of course, knew something was up because of the way Boyd was pushing the whole thing there. So turns out to be our friend Sheriff Shelby. So what do we make of Sheriff getting into this?
Well, he's been, you know, on the take from the very beginning. It's not a surprise that he's not an upstanding legal guardian of the legal system.
But don't you think he's doing something? He's trying to save her?
Well,
Do you think there's an ulterior motive other than something noble?
I think he's in love.
Oh.
So you think he's doing it because
No.
But I didn't think that because of the way he's, you know, you kind of at that moment when he was saying, you know, I would have shot him, and then you thought there might be a moment there, but then he said right after that, he said, you know, I'm going to take Boyd down.
Oh yeah, no, he wants to do it to take Boyd down, but I think he's going to be in love.
You think it's a love thing, not necessarily a fatherly
one of them's gonna
protector
die.
thing?
I would love it to be a love thing, but I don't think it's there yet.
With Ellen May, really? Do you think Sheriff Shelby's going to go for Ellen May, really?
I'm rooting for Ellen May.
He doesn't look like the kind of guy that would dress up as a furry. He just doesn't. Does not.
He's halfway there.
I'm rooting for them to both have a normal life is what I'm rooting for.
Right.
I think Shelby was a reluctant participant in the whole, you know, Boyd Crowder crime, you know, operation from the beginning. So I mean, I feel he sort of didn't want to be a part of it, but he's blackmailed into it.
Yeah.
He's, you know, he's dirty. We know that he's going to take working for Boyd. Doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And now this is his chance to get out.
It's interesting because, you know, when Boyd first approached him to be sheriff, he was like, I'm not so sure I want to do this.
Right.
But you know, there was a part of him that wanted to do it. It didn't really seem like he wanted to do it for money per se, but he felt, you know, he's in the beginning he was always kind of painted as an honorable, decent guy.
That's why I think this is his opportunity to get out from under this, what he's been, redeem himself, take down Boyd, you know, save Ellen May, and they run off together and get married.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're allowing the office to
Such a romantic Joe.
Valentine's Day is coming up. Just kidding.
No, I think they're allowing the sheriff, the office, to start dictate his decisions as opposed to his loyalties.
So maybe the office itself has kind of pulled him in the way
I
of
think
the
so.
law and order rather than okay, interesting. Because now that you're in the office and you have that.
Because not every day and all day is consumed with being on the take and doing Boyd's bidding.
And if you're already an honorable man, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I think would you agree with that? Because he was
generally
kind of
speaking,
decent.
yes.
As things go in the Justified world, he was on the decent side.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like now that he isn't in a position to really help people, because I think he is. I think maybe he's wants to do that. Do we think that?
We agree.
Or do we think there's going to be a twist there where he's going to just...
I think this is it's always about sort of power to a certain degree.
Right.
I mean, you know, Boyd has the power, but that office holds some amount of power. It's like it's a tough thing for him because he's the big bad sheriff, but really he's sort of, you know,
he's a puppet.
Yeah, he's a puppet.
Yeah,
so now this is his opportunity.
I mean,
to really be the sheriff.
Even Colt was saying, "Don't do anything till I tell you," or if I want you, I'll tell you.
Right.
So he thinks of it as a puppet. I would imagine with a guy like that, he's like, "All right, that's enough."
Yeah, it's only going to go so far.
And let's face it, a couple of weeks ago, he told Boyd, "Look, this is it. I'm done."
Right.
So
this is.
And
but the fact that he wants to go after him.
After having a day like that, don't you want to go home to something that's, you know, nice and warm and just there waiting for you, like Ellen May? I'm saying that.
Yeah, I always want to go back to the,
you know,
I always want to go back to the prostitute I have at home.
I'm going to stop.
You know, we all just wish for Ellen May to be able to give a BJ because she wants to.
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
And she was under the table.
I'm so glad.
It's a very familiar.
Yeah, maybe she didn't even know Johnny was there.
That's right.
So I will say that
Colton.
This is when we do see Ellen May finally getting that. It's that same thing with her. It's that family, and he's using that same thing with her. So I'm saying,
well, see, that's why I think
I'll always protect you.
But see, that's why I was thinking not so much a love interest, but more of a father protector kind of thing. So I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do it. Just, I got more of that than I got that he liked her.
Now that you identify it as that, I agree with you, because I wasn't getting necessarily romantic connection, but I didn't know what it was. But
but it is Kentucky.
Yeah, that's true.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
So really, aren't we talking the same?
Okay. The letters are going to go to Steve Bottomley. Make those comments to Steve Bottomley.
And to be clear, I got the same thing you guys got. I didn't think there was a romantic connection there. I'm saying I'm rooting for a romantic connection.
Okay.
I don't think that he's in love with her, nor do I think it's more the.
Just because. But that I think that would be interesting. But the part that I like the most is the fact that he has now decided he's going to go after Boyd. But whereas before, the last times we've seen him, it's like, okay, I'm done, Boyd. Don't keep coming to me. This is the last one. But now, for whatever reason, he decided, I'm not going to just turn a blind eye anymore. I'm going to take him down.
That's where I think the office is starting to take over.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
you can't have that power of that position of power and not feel like you have that position
responsibility for it. Well, and also there could be some element of whatever this relationship is between Ellen May and the sheriff that she told him, you know, Boyd was fixing to kill her.
Well, yeah. Well, he says, "Now do you believe me?"
Right.
They were definitely, and so she now has to. But it might have been the thing that said, "Okay, that's it. I can no longer turn a blind eye because he's gonna kill this woman. Really? You're kidding me? What has she done?"
Right.
Plus, you know, they love to have stuff come out where you least expect it.
That's true. As we saw today.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we'll get into in a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, we will.
I thought it was a great move because we all thought it was somebody else. We thought none of us thought.
I went way out on a limb with Cassie, and I was wrong.
I thought that was a great guess.
I thought it was too.
I'm sure some of the viewers and the audience members who are listening now probably might have thought Shelby. But
well, I wanted to have it happen because I kind of wanted to keep Cassie alive.
Right.
You know, but I guess
I thought this was good bringing Shelby into it too because now you got the law. I mean, it's not just a woman who was the preacher's sister and stuff like that, but now it's the law. So you got and all that comes with it in terms of resources and get in the way of Boyd.
Right.
So that could be fun too. Plus, there's a history there. Look, I put you in this spot. Now you're going to come after me?
Sure.
Are you kidding me? So that's really interesting to me. So, all right. Well, that scare that note. Before we go any further, we want to thank everybody for, speaking of comments, thank you for rating and commenting. I just wanted to say that, as we've mentioned many times now, we get over 20 million downloads a week, and it's because of you. So please keep doing that, and tell a friend so that we can keep growing here, keep bringing you this week. We got 60 shows this week, 60 shows a week now. So let's keep that going, and we'll bring as many shows as we can get out. And as long as you keep wanting to hear them and see them, we'll keep doing them.
So when you go to iTunes, please rate and comment, because that really helps us out, in addition to obviously downloading. But the rates and comments really help us out.
All right, let's get into our plot thickening, because so much went on here that, I was trying to, it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Well, and plus, because we go up right after, half the time you're trying to write notes while you're watching, and we're also enamored of the show, and we're staring at the screen and going, oh, heck, I forgot to write that note down. What was that? We don't have time to go back. You just got to go.
Well, the part I want to start off with is just where they started, where they go into the marshal's office and it's mayhem in there. There's file boxes everywhere and Arlo's being brought in. What the hell? And nobody knows what the hell's going on. Raylan gets called away from the doctor's appointment with Winona. So, hey, she made a comeback.
She's not dead yet.
Not dead yet. And pregnant. So,
and still pregnant.
Exactly.
And beautiful.
So,
I love her.
Oh, God, didn't she look gorgeous?
Well, she has that radiance about her.
She's gorgeous.
It was interesting, though, that they pull Raylan away from that because he was really trying.
Yeah,
he was talking about, I got things going. You don't need to do that. He was really trying to
I'm going to be here for you.
Right.
And he brought the coffee, but it was caffeinated.
Yeah, and to find
not
out
quite there.
He was actually late.
Yeah, so
and all that
kind
stuff.
of stuff.
But it's just not going to happen, no matter how hard he tries.
Exactly.
I'm just telling the I'm going to be here for you and the baby was just a big red flag. He's not. He's not. He's not. That's what I was thinking when he heard
It's interesting that it's a little girl.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've known that before.
The most poignant line was when he says, "Are you gonna read about your daddy in the paper?" And she says, "In what
section?"
Yeah,
and then points to the.
Yeah.
And he says the job is still the job. So the job is always going to be there, and he's never leaving the job. So
which
he can never
means
be there.
she will always wonder if he's coming home.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's never going to be.
That's why they broke up.
So anyway, so we're in the marshal's office, and we have. Oh, sorry.
No, I just want to last on that. I think you know everything we need to know about Winona and Raylan's relationship within that one scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's happening right that very second.
Exactly.
His intentions as a father, you know, where she is, him trying with the coffee, like we said,
how
it's
he
the wrong
misses,
coffee,
yeah.
he misses the thing, he's got to go, and their affection for each other because she clearly still loves and cares about him, and vice versa.
But she knows it's not going to be.
But knows it's not going to be. So it's really this really bittersweet, sort of sad but poignant little scene.
Which was another example of anybody who hasn't seen this or didn't know the last years or had never come to this, who could come to the show right away, and in that one little scene, you know their entire history.
Well crafted.
But those of us who have seen
X-pos.
Those of us who've seen it doesn't bother us at all. There's a lot of X-pos, but it's all covered with life. We have no problem with it.
Right.
So it's well handled. So all right, so we're in the marshal's office. All those files that Arlo's being brought in, and of course when Raylan gets there, he's just when they were saying, okay. Stephen Tobolowsky's there. I'm sorry, his character's name is Barkley, the Phoebe Barkley.
Agent Jerry Barkley.
Agent Barkley.
He just plays such a great never-still.
And I love he's a great sort of like that pencil pushing kind of like
punch him. You just want to kick him.
But I do love that sort of like federal, like FBI versus marshal pissing contest that they have, and back and forth. The line he said is, "No, this isn't some fugitive hunt. This is a federal investigation."
Exactly.
You know,
because the marshals don't deal with.
Exactly. Marshals aren't. This is serious business. I love it.
Yeah. But it was great to see him back. He's always wonderful. But that was such a surprise at the end. I mean,
not going to see him in another episode.
So let's just carry that thread for a second. So he's obviously in the marshal's office. He's pissed off that this thing got taken away from him. So then the next time we see him, was such a surprise that he's in bed. What? He's in bed with Wynn Duffy? I had no idea.
No, never saw that.
I wasn't even tracking for a minute. It was so out of
what
place.
are these people doing in the same place?
And I was like,
what?
oh, wait a minute, what? And buddies with this guy.
Nick Augustine, who's Theo Tonin's guy. You're going, wait, whoa, wait, what? And then the story, of course, the little backstory they have telling they have like college boys talking about their frat day, excuse me.
Which they had to do to set up the final shot.
Right.
Because
you
final
had
shot,
to,
literally.
Without all that setup,
there
wouldn't have been that impact.
But I love the way they did that too. The final shot, and then he goes, "Mr. Tonin would like you now."
Right.
Just calmly.
I don't know who had more fun to do that.
Oh my God!
The guy that took the shot, or
Jerry Burns.
Jerry Burns.
Well, they did that last season a lot. If you remember,
he does so little. And
Neil McDonough, when he'd go crazy as quarrels, Wynn would just
Duffy
sit
be
there.
sitting there.
You just see the reaction.
Great reactions.
And I'll bet, off camera, he's probably crazy. He's probably Charles Nelson Riley crazy or whatever.
Right.
But he's so small and so simple. It's just
because
fun.
he's so funny and such a crazy personality. I think just in real life, he's a really funny guy. He's able to sort of play those moments perfectly by just by not saying anything and not doing those reactions are perfect.
And not only was it, entertaining in a weird way because it's macabre, but it really shows, okay, these guys mean complete business. Here's a federal officer who they've had on the payroll for years, who's protected them forever.
Yep, and a friend.
And they're willing to just off him.
Without hesitation.
To get to Drew.
Right.
Man.
One of the things that I always flash on, though, is after that happens, I'm always going so how do you clean that up?
Right.
you know? And who do you bill?
Well, remember Wynn,
Theo?
Wynn cleaned it up.
Remember he did the
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Poor Wynn again. He's gonna clean up.
He's got to go get another can of kills.
He's got to, get those blinds in the window and everything.
Right.
That's a mess.
Damn it.
That is hard to clean.
You got to
up.
bill someone.
I know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess that friendship, like I said, I think that friendship wasn't as strong as Stephen Tobolowsky thought it was.
Yeah, exactly.
They were boys until he was dead.
It was great to see Stephen back, and then later on we get to see Josiah, who's Gerald McRaney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gerald McRaney.
Obviously we saw him in the coming up last week, but it's great to see him back on the screen. He always does a good job.
Yeah.
And I love the gag about handcuffing him to the car.
Again, don't you just love being in that writer's room and going, I don't know, we got to do something here. What can we do?
Yeah,
how about Raylan drives 5 miles an hour?
Well, not only that, because you get all this X-Boss you got to get out.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just a boring, talking head scene.
Right.
And they just said, no, let's figure something out. So, yeah, handcuff him to the car. Let's drive. Yeah, imagine Gerald McRaney was going, what? You're going to do what? I'm going to have to run to get the car?
Can't it be Raylan running with me driving?
Wait a minute.
Simon Sam was a long time ago.
No matter how many takes they had to go.
Stunt double.
Exactly. So, but it was good to see him back.
But again, character-wise, it's just again Raylan being able to get the job done, get the investigation done,
and doing something that I'm sure is not within the realm.
No, not at all.
No, but they had the clock started. He had
That's true,
24
hours.
So by any means necessary, he was going to get this information.
So he has no problem, as we've seen many times, there's no problem bending the law a little bit. So,
well, yeah, and go ahead because it's not the right point for this note.
All right. Well, obviously that takes us to the holler, to the hills.
To the hills.
Yeah, we've never been here.
I loved it.
Which is great. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
well, we kind of have with obviously Mags.
Mags, yeah, a little bit of Mags, but that was something that you and I talked about how much we loved that in season 1.
But this even seemed like the hills of the hills.
The hills of the hills.
I think Mags is like suburban.
She was in the
right.
suburbs.
Yeah, she was a suburban.
This is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the real sort of and Boyd referenced it, the sort of like deliverance-y, backwoodsy, super Kentucky hills. I mean, with season 4, now we've set up the metropolitan Kentucky, we've set up the sophisticated, the somewhat rednecky spots in the holler and the Mags, but now we see the hill people, which I loved.
Well, we've got cell phones. What are you talking about?
And the other thing I thought was so great about it is I completely believed that Raylan was ahead.
Yeah, me too.
And then when he gets thrown in that whatever
container
shack cell, there's Boyd saying, "Man, you weren't even ahead."
No, you too.
And I love the fact that that's how we get to see them together.
Yeah,
for the first time
in
this
a cell
season,
again, both tied
back.
up.
What I have is a Hill People Hilton. It's just hanging out. Yeah. But you were mentioning about the dynamic.
I love it. Yeah, they seem to. Well, they find great ways of finding ways for Boyd and Raylan to work together. They're always working together to get out of a jam reluctantly, or they're always working for the same goal. Let's one last job. It's always this sort of Butch Sundance kind of thing. Yeah. And then they'll work together. Then they'll work against each other. Right. And then they'll probably come back together again. But I love the way they do it, and it's sort of a mutual respect and mutual hatred for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there's got to be a time coming where that mutual respect is not going to be as strong as the mutual. I mean, it's got to come to a head where sooner or later Boyd is going to really, because he did make a comment today. I'm beginning to think I don't like you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And up to this point,
he's been talking about what good friends we are.
He's always thought that they were friends. So if they're shifting that, that could get really interesting.
We'll see.
Well, and even Raylan was reluctant to save him.
Yeah, I know. He's like,
I guess I got to do paperwork. If not, I got to come back and report it.
Because anybody else, he'd probably say, "Well, you're on your own." You know what I mean? He's like, "What are you gonna do?"
Right.
But I think they had to. I mean,
no, they have to. But I think
no. I mean, just from his character point of view.
Yeah.
He is, at the end of the day, he is a
lawman.
Marshal. Yeah, he's a lawman.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, but and still, I handcuff guys to cars and drag them. And
sure.
There's that. And let's face it, the stuff he's been doing on the side hasn't really been above the law.
Right.
Yeah, but he and Boyd are such good friends. He's not going to let Boyd go down a shaft.
Funny.
And so the picture was worth 1,000 words because.
There's the one that saved him.
Yeah, it's the one that saved him, and that was his mom and Mary.
Mom's cousin.
Had we seen Mary before? Was she? Just...
No, don't think we've ever met Mary.
Did you recognize that actress? That you
yeah,
sounded
I did. I did. I've seen her in a million things.
Oh, okay.
Her name escapes me at the moment, and I didn't bother to look it up before we came on.
Because the buildup was so.
We can't get Wi-Fi too.
They spent quite a bit of time with it, and then made kind of a dramatic entrance with her.
She was on the. Keep talking.
Maybe we'll see the beginning. I'm not sure that I think we will see the Hill people again. I think we'll see because she.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, but it seemed like she was somewhat significant in some way, not quite a Mags, but some sort of power person that we may or may not see again.
I agree with that.
She played the general with the show about the spy who was a nerd herd. Remember, he was with the nerd herd. I can't even remember the name of it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
She played the general on that, so she did a good job there. So, exactly. See, now you remember?
Yes, I have no idea the name of that show.
Okay.
another odd moment in that was you got to sing your song now.
Oh man!
Start singing
that poor kid.
And I'm like going,
what the hell?
That's got to be the creepiest way to die, right there. Where you know, it's like they don't want him to know what's going to happen. You know,
we're gonna shoot, so cover your ears. But this is how we get you to cover your ears. Sing
it turned out they
oh
were just telling. I thought they were gonna. That's why I thought they were gonna kill him. And they were just telling Raylan that we don't want him to know, but we pull his firing pin.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why plug your ears.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was about. I thought it was the creepy way to die too, but I think it was just more about.
No, they just didn't want the kid to know.
Right. His gun doesn't work.
Dumb.
I really thought that was
a
like
boulder fell. What boulder fell? Is that what I said? A boulder fell on him.
Yeah,
a boulder fell on him.
Still, it's such an odd thing, and that's what makes that show so
like
good.
Like an old school. Put earmuffs.
Exactly.
Exactly what it was.
Well, just still people's version.
One quick thing back to the Hillbilly Hilton on Boyd is, Raylan had to sit and watch Boyd get the crap beat out of him. It looks like he wanted to go and help him. I mean, he's trying to escape for his own, but it looks like Raylan was going to go out and try to save Boyd. So I'm not so sure that. I still think there's something there. I mean, it's that.
Well, there is, but also let's not forget there is something between the two, and even as much as he may not like Boyd, as much as he thinks he's a thug or whatever he wants to think about him, there is some sort of familial connection, even though they're not related, but they are brothers in some sense. But the other thing about it is, that was the only time that there was a diversion where he could get away.
Very true.
So he had to take advantage.
Of it.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. And what I really liked about that, Boyd and Raylan together, dealing with it. Yeah. And they go back to Colton and Tim.
Yeah, exactly.
The two first,
I love the parallel because here they two former military guys.
Yep.
And then you got the two holler guys, and you can see these, and the commonality, the languages they share, everything, the fact that he knows his boots, all that stuff is there. Yep. Just like, and it's like, wow, they're making that.
Yeah.
And I also saw, you didn't see them together, but you see Josiah and Arlo, for me. Okay, I get it. The two, same thing, two peas in a pod.
And they made mention of Arlo and Bo. Back
yeah,
our
exactly.
two daddies, Arlo and Bo, and I think the Hill woman made reference. Your two daddies, took all that cocaine, and that was.
Yeah. So. And that was a good.
But and also them being wary of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and the irony of the whole thing that their daddies are hidden somebody that they're not.
Yeah.
Get
more things that are bringing these guys together.
That's
also I found fascinating too. Is we were wondering how these parallel parallel tracks, how they were going to meet, and it turns out it's their fathers doing something. 40 years ago, what their fathers were doing has brought them together now.
And 28 years ago, when Drew disappeared, was it 20? It was 28, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Like and it turns out he wasn't up in the hill anyway.
Yeah.
So none of that.
So somebody's feeding them stuff.
Yeah, well, Josiah did want to send him on a wild goose chase so that he could, get to him or whatever.
Well, she said that the Hill woman said he was there. She patched him up.
Yeah.
And then sent him on his way.
10 years ago he was gone, so he's at this hill.
So. We didn't get to see much of Patton.
No,
but we did see him.
Constable Bob Sweeney.
We got to see the gremlin, which is always awesome.
We got to hear about the go bag. The go bag.
Yeah,
yes, we did.
But they're using pretty good. Hill people ate Drew, maybe. They're just.
He just feels very convincing with
he's doing such a good job of I'm such a clown, but I actually know a lot about what's going on. He's playing that line really well.
Yeah.
But I liked when he just said, "She offered me a."
Right.
And he was disgusted by that.
You didn't take her up.
And appalled.
Just went on the front to
my position.
Exactly.
As a volunteer fire department / constable.
He did a really good spot on Burn Notice too for a couple of episodes.
Yes.
Patton did.
Patton was
really
great.
Yeah,
that was a good. That speaking of that scene, that was a good. Steve and I talked about slightly earlier. That was a good misdirect there because I think we all thought that Ellen May was in Patton's car.
Yeah.
And especially when they made reference to the blowjob. Like, oh, there she is.
There it is, Ellen May.
It turned out to be the teenage girl. So that was a nice little small red herring they waved at us.
So it's good to see Patton. I'm sure Constable Bob will be back.
Yes. I hope so. He's always fun to watch.
The last thing on Constable Bob is he was very convinced that Raylan was not coming back, which I love that. He's like, nope, I won't see you. You going to the hills? Nope.
Oh,
you're not coming back.
He was
Bye.
worried.
See you later.
I want to know more stories. That's all wives' tales. I want to know the other wives' tales that they send me, because just like they have so many wives' tales of Noble's Holler. I want to know what those are.
Yes,
fascinating.
It's a great world. It's a fascinating world.
All right, so let's talk more about the whole Wynn Boyd. Well, first of all, obviously Theo Tonin's got the arrangement with Wynn.
Theo, Wynn, Boyd,
Okay,
well,
Colton.
we were talking about this.
Wynn
Shelby, Johnny.
When we were talking about this going before we went up, they're referencing the fact that
Wynn.
Drew shot Theo in the eye.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the backstory. Well, 30 years ago, apparently, whatever it was, 20 years ago.
That's a pretty good fake eye based on
maybe it's a glass eye. We haven't seen it.
Maybe it is.
I don't remember seeing anything weird about his eye. Maybe he just missed. I don't know.
Or maybe he didn't. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Or maybe
I'm sure they'll address it.
Hopefully we'll find more about it. But he shot him, however it happened, because that's the thing that hurts most. Not about the $2 million. It's the fact that he shot him.
Yeah.
I wrote down layers of lies for that whole section of just the interweaving, like I said, the Wynn, the deals, the Wynn, the Theo, and the Wynn and the Johnny, and then we also have Johnny and Wynn with some backroom deals, and we have sort of Colton lying to Boyd, and then Johnny lying to Boyd, and then
what is Colton
Wynn,
thinking?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you know
spilled it.
what Boyd is like, and you're lying to him. You think, hoping that you're gonna find Ellen May.
And Boyd was very
Before
very
Boyd learned?
specific.
You know what
What time?
What, are you crazy?
Where did she bury her?
That's what I was so fascinated about that scene is you're watching it and you're thinking Boyd knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just stringing him along.
Right.
And it's not until the very end when he says, "What's her last word?"
Right.
And he goes,
It's cold.
I'm cold.
I'm cold.
Yeah, I'm just the whole thing is weird because I didn't think I can't understand why Colton. The first thing I would have done is, hey, she's off. Where would she go?
You know
maybe, better than I
He
do.
may be making the same mistake that a lot of other guys that came into this world makes, which is they're not Hicks.
Right.
They're Colton may not realize the
he
field.
knows Boyd.
I know. I didn't get that either. I was really surprised that he made that choice. But
It
if
didn't
we're
make any sense.
trying to figure it
the
out,
other thing that doesn't make any sense to me is the whole Johnny thing going to Wynn. I get why he goes to Wynn. What I don't get is, you just learned from Wynn that he has a deal with Theo, and because of it, well, I don't know if you know about that, but you do know that Wynn has now made a deal with Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
yeah.
And you're
in the middle.
And you're in the middle.
Yeah.
So you really think that once
right.
that you're in a situation or a position where you can get rid of Boyd, you don't think that Wynn's gonna get rid of you? What I mean,
Right.
Well,
what are you thinking?
Again, an interesting thing on that part was when, as Duffy's walking away, he says, "And then you can kill him."
Exactly.
And Johnny's looking like, "Whoa,
I thought
hey,
you were gonna kill him.
Hold on."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then what do I need you for?
Yeah.
I could do that
It's
in
like-
the bar.
And I'm going, and you figured you would know that ahead of time, but now it's got to be. Wouldn't you just be trying to save your skin and get out of that any way you could?
Well, it seems like a lot of things are spinning out of control for a lot of these characters. It certainly is for Johnny. And when he was
he's
chatting,
screwed no matter what.
when he was chatting with
Ava, trying to get info out of her,
and you could see that
his
doors are
anxiety,
closing,
exactly.
and he's not sure where he's going to be able
the
to
pucker
turn.
factor goes up to 9.
That was an interesting scene too with Ava because you felt a little sort of remorse for Ellen May as she's packing her things. She tried to be tough about it, like, well, I gotta pack her stuff, I gotta give the illusion that she's gone. But I felt like she was really sort of sad as she was sort of packing her things. Maybe I just read too much into it.
No, I thought you were sad too. I did, because I think she's not only
the one
sad.
who saved Ellen May in the
Yeah.
first
Right.
place. So there
And
was
I think it's not just Ellen May that she's sad about. I think she's sad about the fact that she's come to this and she's become this.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because he even says something to Johnny, but don't tell me how to run this place. Because
Right.
I think she's, I think she's in over her head. I think she wants to be this thing, but I don't know if she's got it in her. So, she never really seemed to be like the horrible person.
No, it's a slow sort of turn from Ava that we saw in season 1 to the Ava we're seeing now.
And it's, we can't come back from it. So that's another one of those lines that we crossed.
Well, back to these layers of lies. The other interesting thing, the other interesting twist was the Arlo's lawyer being on Boyd's payroll.
Yes.
It's like another
Yes.
a layer
God.
within a layer within a layer. It's really, so. But it seems like he only gave her about $800. I think lawyers are pretty cheap in Harlan County.
Wow.
Well,
we don't know how
to buy
desperate she
attorneys.
is. We know her backstory. She just might need it. So
it's like
I liked Boyd's reaction shot on that. It's like it never surprises me.
Which part?
When he's talking to the lawyer?
Yeah.
It just never surprises him when people turn bad.
Right.
Oh,
for money.
Right.
And stuff.
I
He's never-
must have missed that. I don't know. Would he just have a look on his face like I expected that?
Yeah. You did,
okay.
yeah.
Well, even with Wynn Duffy when Wynn slid the money across, and he had that line of that great line of what causes precipitation of change in your weather vane when your weather vane. I can't get it right, but precipitation of change in your weather vane. What
precipitated the change of your vane?
Thank you. I'll never get it right, but yes, that was. Even then he was sort of calm about it and didn't have a super surprised look.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It was nice that he brought a gun to the table.
Right, just in case things got out of hand.
Yes.
You never know.
So, what do we think of Wynn, the Boyd thing? Obviously, they're going to put money out there, and Wynn's going to do everything. He's willing to give him half. He's willing to give Boyd half the heroin.
Well, he's really not if he plans on killing Boyd.
Well, true, but
in theory,
that for me that just shows he's going to do everything he can because he wants to be in bed with Theo so badly.
Right.
So he's going to do everything.
Yeah, Wynn is all about keeping Wynn alive.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So you know,
and
if Johnny
power.
Right, but if Johnny needs to go because Johnny's screwing up, then Wynn will always be the one standing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why his name is Wynn.
If he's offering half the heroin biz to Boyd and it works out for Wynn, then that's probably going to happen. But I wouldn't put much money on it.
No.
I thought it was interesting because last week we had very little about the whole Waldo Truth, Drew Thompson kind of thing.
Right.
And this was just jam-packed.
This got us right back on track.
Let's move this story along.
Right back on track with it.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Geez. And so much it just started accelerating like crazy.
Right. Which I guess when we zoom out of 13 episodes, they did a pretty job of setting us up. Within 5 episodes, they set us up.
We got the
for
whole
this
world.
thing. So now we've got the back half of the season to really focus on it in theory. So that.
But it does seem amiss without Boyd and Raylan together having conversations. It's just like there was a part of the show that wasn't.
Oh, because
they weren't interacting.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now it's interesting because they are definitely may the best man win. For me, I go, okay, well, there's your break. There's your act. We're going to accelerate into the second act. Here, the whole thing's gonna be it's gonna be you or me, and it's the best man win. And all that
That's great.
You're going to need a saw.
One of the things that I just was making this observation that I believe it was last season, Raylan had a very high body count. We talked a lot about how many people did he kill this episode. We would literally count last season. And there's been relatively low body count in this season so far. I realize it's the beginning of the season, but
I think we're at 0. Are we? We had 0 for Raylan.
For Raylan?
For Raylan, yeah. I don't think
not many. And I thought they were going to get back to the old high body count with his sideline work.
Mm-hmm.
But then killing fugitives might be kind of hard to explain.
Well, but also killing him. Do you collect the bounty on a dead?
It's dead or alive. It depends.
So.
Yeah.
But one little parallel I thought was interesting is Raylan says, to get rid of Boyd, to get Boyd out of the handcuffs, you're going to need a saw.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, they used the saw to get out of the tracking device.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice little segue.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing to go. By the way, I was just like, okay, yeah. We saw a guy get shot in the head, which was weird, just shocking enough, and then we see the maimed foot.
Yeah.
Well, last season he was disarmed, and this season a guy's foot loose.
There, look what you did.
Oh, I saw that. That's what happened.
That's it.
So but not that it matters at all, but just another place that my mind always goes to when you're watching the lead actors who need to stay slim and buff, and it takes a lot of work.
Yes.
For that to happen, and they're working around all these
Slavs.
big old boys.
Slovenly.
And it's like
The
it
hill
must
people.
kill them.
Yeah.
But, I'm working my butt off to stay slim.
Yeah,
and
craft,
you get to go to craft service.
I'm having a salad and I've got barbells with me while I'm eating it, and you're eating the macaroni, aren't you?
And you're doing the rack of ribs. Thank you.
So, do you think we're going to see more of Gerald McRaney? I guess is his name.
Well, we're going to see with 1 foot less.
Not McRaney, it's McLeany.
Yeah, he was screaming in the previews for next week, so I hope so. He's fun to watch.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go to our first break here from Mercer. If you could, tell them what they can expect at AfterBuzz TV. What's the new stuff on the horizon?
Oh yeah, we just launched this new thing for AfterBuzz. If you go to AfterBuzzTV.com, we have an AfterBuzz store, merchandise. So we have mugs, bags, cups, for females, for males, for kids, like baby onesies and whatnot. So check that out. Get your AfterBuzz swag on.
There he goes. Get your AfterBuzz swag on. Right on. Thank you, Marissa. All right, let's leave that into predictions. Let's get on to that now because we have lots of things we want to talk about here.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What the hell is that?
I was adding
Music
to
cue
it.
was coming in.
Added to the drop.
That was the
All right, so we were
Justified.
wondering, you know, obviously we saw Gerald McRaney, whatever, and he's going to be in the next week. So he's, and you know, you don't bring Gerald on if you only want him for one or two scenes.
True.
You're going to have him, but it's, you know, it's going to be interesting. Is he going to be in a wheelchair like Johnny is now?
Right.
Yeah, crutches. Who cut off his arm, his foot, excuse me, because apparently it's not his daughter, so who, stepdaughter, whatever the hell she is. So who did that? What's that? Who's got him? Somebody who obviously wants Drew. Is it Wynn that did it?
You know, one thing. There were more than one shot with Raylan holding a propane torch in his hand, right?
Was that
I don't know if it was it Raylan.
I thought I saw Raylan. I thought
I
I saw Raylan do. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but
well,
you
I
know,
know it was Raylan was in the very next shot. I don't know if it was the same shot.
I thought
Maybe.
it was the boyfriend of the stepdaughter.
I was connecting. Okay, maybe that was what it was. I thought it was Raylan, but as I'm saying this, I don't think. Well, you know, cauterizing a wound with fire.
Yeah,
so that's what I think that torch is about. That was what came to me when I saw it.
Yeah.
So I think
that's what I thought too.
Gruesome.
Well, it could have been torture. I mean, who knows?
Yikes.
Right. Or you know, maybe they're helping save him.
Sawing off his foot wasn't bad enough.
Right.
Well,
We're
they gotta
gonna
stop the bleeding.
You know, you gotta cauterize it.
The cauterization bit is
Yeah, you gotta stop the bleeding.
Yummy.
All right. So what do we think? What do we got? Anybody?
I'm gonna stick with my prediction. I teased it earlier, but I think the Shelly and Ellen May. I think that they're gonna end up together. I think that they may fall in love and that they may end up together as a normal couple.
Okay.
As a normal couple.
Wow.
Well, I'll say that obviously Sheriff's going to try to get in the way of Boyd and take him down, but I think that's going to be his demise.
Oh, the
I
opposite.
think that Boyd.
It's going to be Shelby's demise.
I think it'll be Shelby's demise.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been kind of quiet, and I think we're looking at one of the, if not one of the leads, but one of the principals, I think, buys it.
Mm-hmm.
If not this coming episode, I'll bet next couple. It's just been like quiet.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, and I think we're going to start seeing bodies fall.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Well,
very soon.
I just don't know if it's on the good side or the bad side.
Okay, here's what I want to postulate. Because we saw Tim and Colt, two former military guys, and we saw them. They look like old army buddies to some degree talking, but Tim was wary, and they were both wary of each other, which is interesting. And then they were talking about what it was like to be out there, and it's still like here it's the same thing, a bunch of people in beards, clans, feuding kind of thing. I thought it was interesting. Do you think those two guys will end up at each other? One will have to take the other one out.
Well,
because why? I mean, you've got two military guys on opposing sides.
I would be interested in seeing that.
I would too.
I'd want to see that too.
I'd
want to see that too.
With all their knowledge.
I would have to say Tim. Just.
Oh, I think Tim would win.
Yeah.
But I want to see that.
That could be cool. Yeah.
I have one tidbit just about quick on Natalie Z. She talked about how she returned for this episode.
Yeah.
And she will be back for probably at least one more.
Okay.
But the baby will not be born this season. For sure.
I know.
So we'll see if the baby will make it next season.
All right.
No, she won't.
Well, that wraps us up. I'll tell you what, before we go, let's let everybody know where they can find you. Marissa, let's start with you. Let everybody know where they can find you.
I'm here doing Glee, and once upon a time, you can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV.
There you go. Steven.
Oh, I'm just around. But if you're interested, I'm at Bottomley Steven on Twitter.
Joe Braswell.
Is that new Twitter.com?
Yes.
So
Twitter.
Steak Twitter.
Yes.
You can find me at the following podcast on Monday nights. My other Natalie Z show. I'm all Natalie Z shows.
That's it.
The following.
But the following podcast here, and then on Twitter at Joe K Braswell.
Michael Tamara.
I am at Tamara Berg, TamaraBerg on Twitter. Also, my website is tamaracentral.com. And I'm doing Smash for AfterBuzz and Downton Abbey.
And also, where can they see you?
Occasionally on the Hallmark Channel on Home and Family. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And you find me here and doing Downton Abbey. And I guess coming up, I'll be doing Newsroom or
something
filling
else.
in on Smash or whatever they ask of me. So we'll be doing that. So I think that wraps it up for us here. We want to thank you very much for tuning in and downloading and telling a friend.
Thank you.
We will talk to you next time.
See you next week.
Yep.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.